the Innsbruck World Cup and I'm getting ready to go into qualifications. It's very early in the morning, it's 7 AM, so we've got a small walk to ISO and then it's going to be really busy 4 days, but I'm psyched to get going and we'll see how it goes.
Next, ladies and gentlemen, on A1, Toby Roberts, the winner of Brixen.
Coming out, block one, it was on the steepest part of the wall. It was a really physical boulder. I put in some good attempts on some really physical moves, but it was just a really hard boulder. I didn't quite figure out the best beater quick enough, so I drained some energy, which meant I couldn't quite get the boulder. But I got the zone on my second go, I think, which I'm happy with. Finishing on block one, it was back to the cool zone for a 5-minute wait. And by that point, a couple of the people had kind of realized, like, wow, that first boulder was pretty hard. This might be a hard round we're in for. Coming up for block two, it was another physical looking boulder. It looked like a really cool boulder. I managed to get it on my second go. On my first go, I fell off the last move, which was a really big throw up. I was almost using one of the setters kind of tick marks that they use to know where to put the holds on the wall as kind of a guidance to where the jib was on the last hold. But some cool climbing through there and a massive last move. So sticking that was really nice, as I felt it was quite a hard move. Small details make a big difference. On that first attempt on boulder 2, I launched up, I didn't quite hit the jib, and then as soon as I hit the mat, I was like, okay, what can I do to make sure I know where that jib is? What can I do to make sure I dead point that 100% and know where it is in that hold? So I go around, I look to see if there's any evidence of where the hold is from below, and I see there's an X on the hold from where the setters use there as like a little marker for the setters to know where to put the hold on. So I go, okay, next attempt I'm going to get there, I'm going to look at that X and I'm going to try and make it so my thumb lands on that, because that's where the jib is. And I did that, executed, and it felt like a really good move. Boulder 3 was like a double clutch dynamic move. It was properly savage to get that first move. It took me 10 attempts, I think, but so happy that in the end I composed myself, I put some liquid chalk on, I swung my arms a bit, and I managed to execute on that first move to get the zone. I knew that zone would be important as that first move was properly hard. So coming away from block 3 with a zone right at the end as the buzzer was ticking down, psyched with that. Coming out to block 4, it was a quick stand up into a massive 360 hold. I think the move to the zone was quite easy, and then the last move was quite a big move up, and you had to really dead point it. It took me 7 goes, I think, which was a lot of goes, but it was one of those moves where you really just have to dead point that last hold. I got closer with each attempt, and in the end I managed to stick it with around 30 seconds left, which I was really happy with. So that's block 4 done. Block 5 was the slab, and I'm really happy with this slab. I didn't get it in the round, I got the zone on my first attempt, but it was a proper slab, and I managed to get the zone and got really close to topping my first attempt, which I'm really happy with. I didn't manage to get back up to that because I slightly changed my beater at the start, which I didn't quite realize, which I figured out what I was doing wrong by the end of that, but by that time it was too late. So really happy with the zone in 1 attempt, as it was a hard slab. Yeah, no top on it, but happy. I've just finished my qualification round here in Innsbruck, and getting up, going to ISO, it was a much quicker ISO this time, basically straight in and straight out as I was coming out third. It's a slightly different dynamic to what it's previously been, because previously I've had quite long weights in isolation, but it felt really good to go in there, do my routine warm up, and basically straight out and on with the climbing. The set was absolutely brutal, so hard. By far the hardest round we've had of all of the World Cups in qualies so far. It's really nice to be able to try hard in these really hard boulders. I like it hard like this. I like how they can get separation through really hard boulders. I really enjoy my time on the blocks, and I'm 7th place right now, 4th in my group. It could change, but safely through to semis, I think. So yeah, all guns blazing for tomorrow.
I'm icing my fingers in peas. I've just finished my quali round, and I felt like my tips were going to start to get bruised, so I want to get the blood away as quickly as possible so they don't bruise. And this seemed like the most efficient method, and it's actually working quite well. Yeah, you can snack on them as well. I've just woken up. Qualies was yesterday, and it was a really hard round. So I woke up today feeling a bit stiff, done some stretching, but now I'm starting to feel really good. Just gonna go for breakfast now. We've got a bit more time for isolation, so we're gonna go somewhere nice for breakfast, and then yeah, the round starts, and hopefully it's a good one. Semi-final fuel.
Coming out to Boulder 1, it was a paddle dyno, which was not the greatest thing to see, but I made a lot of progress on it. I did a lot better on this one than the one in Prague, so I'm really happy with that. Each one of my goes, I made a lot of progress, and I decided to, instead of just thrashing on it, I was going to take it slow and have one attempt, think about it, chalk up, and then have the next attempt in a really conserved kind of manner. And I managed to do that, and I didn't shred my skin too much. I got really close to sticking the zone in the end, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. Out for Boulder 2, and it was a powerful, crimpy, kind of pressy boulder, completely my style. I managed to flash that boulder, which I'm really happy with. Yeah, just a great boulder for me, and my kind of style. Coming out to Boulder 3, I was a bit disappointed not to have the zone on Boulder 1 as I got really close to that, but I knew a flash on Boulder 2 was going to put me in a good position. I knew it was going to be important to get Boulder 3, and it was a big fight on this boulder. I had some interesting feature at the top where I crimped the top of the volume, and got really close to doing the move that way and doing the boulder, but unfortunately I couldn't quite make it work. I didn't realise at the top of the last hold on Boulder 3 was a really big jug on the left side. I didn't actually quite realise that until sort of the end, but by that point I was quite tired, so maybe I should have experimented a bit more and then done that, tried the move the way it was set, and then I would have had a better idea of the hold. So a bit, maybe not the smartest by me there, but yeah, it happens. Boulder 4, I basically knew I would have needed to top it to go through. I didn't know the exact scores, but I know around, it's not often you get through to a final with one top, so it was going to be important for me to get the slab. It was a really hard slab. I made a lot of progress on it. I got to the zone quite easily and then kept getting to the zone, but I couldn't quite make the right foot stick on that 360 volume. It was really slippy, and I couldn't make it work and didn't get the top on that. So ending the round with one top and 2 zones and in 9th place. I've just finished my semi-final round and I ended in 9th place. It was a really hard round for me. I ended the round with 1 top and 2 zones. Looking back on the round, I'm a bit disappointed with the result, but actually how I performed on the boulders was pretty good, I think. On the first paddle boulder, I made a lot of progress on it, and there's definitely a big takeaway for this season is that before the World Champs, I need to go and really work on paddle dynos. I've already feel like I'm getting better on them, but across the whole round, there were a couple blocks there, like boulder 1, I was close to doing. Boulder 3, I was really close, and boulder 4, I was reasonably close. So whilst it may look like I was quite far out of finals, it was actually some really close calls which took me out of it. So there's definitely some good takeaways from that, and really psyched for World Champs now. It's a really condensed schedule, and whilst the boulder season has ended, except for World Champs, the lead season is starting tomorrow, and qualifications are early, start at 8 AM tomorrow. So quick finish on boulder and then straight on to lead. Really no time to rest. So I'm going to give it my all tomorrow, and I'm really psyched to see how it goes. In lead qualifications, you're given YouTube videos with the demos on the night before normally. So those are released, and then everyone sits there and goes through the routes to make sure they're best prepared for the day after. I got to the wall, I did my usual warm-up, and in this period, from when I get to the wall to when I start climbing, I'm just kind of doing a bit of admin, making sure my number's on, going through the videos, just really just staying in the zone and doing what I need to do to get myself ready for the first route. So I did all of that, and then it was time for my first route. The first route was really cool. It was an endurance route with a cool dyno in the middle. I'm reasonably happy with how I performed on it, considering it's my first route of the lead season. But there was definitely aspects of I was pulling too hard on some of the moves because of I've been so recruited in bouldering. So maybe I just needed to relax a bit more. The way these lead routes work and how the scoring works is you can either get a really good result on one route and become first or second on that route, and then you don't have so much pressure on the second route, or you can get 2 average results. So I was 13th or around 13th, I think, on the first route. So that really meant I needed to get either an average result or a good result on the second route to go through to the semi-finals. Route 2, I said to myself, okay, remember you're a lead climber, just relax, don't try and pull the holds off the wall. It worked really well. I got the joint high point on that route, so that was easily through to the semi-final in 7th position. It was a slightly different style. It was definitely an enduro-based route, as I think all of them will be on a route like on a wall like Innsbruck, but it was a bit more sketchy at the start. I had a bit of a close call. I went for a move and my foot slipped, but I managed to claw it back in. And if I fell there, I wouldn't have been in the semi-final, so really happy I managed to keep it together. Approaching the head wall on this route, I knew I was basically in the semi-finals, so I really started to fight, and in the moment I was in the moment, and I turned around whilst chalking up and then gave a little hype up to the crowd. Maybe not the smartest idea, and if I didn't do that I might have been able to get the next move, but you know, it's got to be done. I was really happy with my performance on the second route because it showed me that my lead shape was there. On the first route I was asking a few questions like maybe my training hasn't been right, or maybe I'm not feeling great. But the second route, I was able to get all the way to the high point, and that really kind of confirmed to me that my lead shape is good. I did still feel a bit tired, but yeah, it was a nice pointer. That's quali's done, and now time to rest up for semis, recharge the batteries, or try my hardest to. It's a really tough schedule, so I'm gonna have to see how it goes, and I'm really psyched. There's a really cold river that runs through Innsbruck, which is right next to the wall, so I think I'm going to go over there and ice my forearms, try to get a bit of recovery into them. It's been really hectic with the schedule, and I'm definitely starting to feel it now. Like I'm starting to power down a small bit, so going to really try and get some good recovery in time for the semi-final. Skin's been better, but it's only lead, so it doesn't take as much skin. Elizabeth Arden, 8-hour repair. Got to get need the sponsor. It's expensive, this stuff. That's 15 minutes. My arms feel like they're about to fall off. Actually, I don't feel my arms at all, to be honest. A bit numb, but that's going to really help my recovery, hopefully for the semi-final. Yeah, these really long days have left me feeling pretty tired, so this is going to help, hopefully. It feels so much better. That actually has made a big difference. After a bit of time in isolation, it was time to go and read the route. It's the observation period. You get 6 minutes, so they take all of the athletes, the men and women, out to the wall, and then you get 6 minutes to read the route. And then in that time, you really have to try and find all the little sequences you can. Try and find the setters' tricks, which they like to put in routes. Really try and remember the route so you can go back into isolation where you don't have any photos of the route, and try and remember that and go over it in your head. It's really kind of a mental kind of memory game. Qualified in 7th place, so I had a 19 people wait. The route starts out pretty steadily, as most of these routes do. They start out quite easy and then they slowly build. You do a right hand over move to a mint rock city jug, which is, as you do that move, you get the clip in, and then there's a harder sequence after that, going through some crimps, and then there's a potential foot first sequence which I didn't end up doing, but a couple of the athletes chose. I ended up skipping out like quite a few holds and going straight up, which skipped out the foot first sequence, which I think was quite a good beater, as I didn't take too much energy. Finishing that, then the route really started to beef up. You get into some really bad slopey orange holds. I've never been onto these orange holds before, so I didn't really know what to expect. And yeah, they're not very good at all. So I went through those moves, and I was really starting to get pumped. I completely powered out, and then I started to fight. I did get a bump again to a jib, which was a pretty hard move, which I'm really happy to get. And then after that, I came out right and then fell off the left-hand move over. I was completely destroyed by this point. I was like boxed out of my mind, powered out. So I feel like I got quite a lot out of the route for how I was feeling. So I'm really happy with that performance. Just looking back on the comp, it was a really good comp. I really enjoyed the routes. It was great to see that my lead shape was there, but the accumulation of a lot of the boulder comps, I definitely started to feel that towards the end. We're in Innsbruck, and it's about an hour before we head back to the UK. This trip started 2 days after the Salt Lake World Cup finished, so we've been on the road for about a month now. It's been an absolute crazy couple of weeks. I've gone through 3 Boulder World Cups, and I've just had the first Lead World Cup of the season. So I'm feeling a bit tired, so I'm really excited to get back home and get some good rest in before we go out for the next comps. the boulder season still hasn't sunk in. If someone would have told me that I'd be walking away with the boulder season with fourth in the overalls and two medals, a gold and a bronze, I wouldn't have believed it. It's been an absolute surreal experience, and I still haven't quite, it's still not sunk in. I'm just so thankful for all the support, and yeah, it's been a dream. There are no excuses, but for the Innsbruck Lead World Cup, I definitely felt like the long boulder season started to take its toll. On the semi-final route, I felt a bit powered out, and I just felt kind of the cumulative kind of tiredness from all the comps. Really, I really started to feel it, which is completely normal. I've done a lot of competition, but now I know I'm in good lead shape, so I'm really excited to go back and rest up and then charge the batteries and then get ready for Villa. After this long stint of competitions, I'm now going to go into almost sort of a review phase. This was always the plan from the start, to do all of these competitions and get as much experience as possible. So now I'm going to work out everything that I can from all of these competitions and then stick it into a plan to make sure I'm in my best shape for the World Championships. So there's been a lot of pointers which I've been able to pick up that I need to work on, a lot of different things to work on. So I'm really excited to go home, rest up, create a plan for the next couple of months, and yeah, I'm really excited. Throughout these competitions, you're constantly having to manage all of these emotional factors. You can go from massive highs to massive lows. You can do really well in qualies, you can not make semis, you can make the final, you can win, you can get a podium. There's just so many different factors you're having to manage, and at the end of the competition there can often be like really big highs or really big lows. I always find after a really big high, or a lot of athletes do, that there follows a low from all that adrenaline release. You go from a really highly pressurized environment to a suddenly relaxed environment, and it's just, it can almost take it out of you quite a lot. So it's good to have a lot of experience in that kind of environment and know how to manage myself through a lot of rounds and competitions. I'm really happy I've learned all of these things from these competitions. If Innsbruck was the peak of the season, then I wouldn't have done this previously. But as I needed the experience, and World Champs is quite far away, I wanted to do this long stint of competitions and then have a rest period, rest, train, and then properly get myself into good condition for the World Championships. So I'm really happy that it's gone successfully, and it's been a really good few months competing. Overall, this has been an incredible month. I've really enjoyed competing at these competitions. It's just been an absolute dream. It's been such a nice time out with the team and everything, and going to all these comps with my friends. I'm so excited for the rest of the season. Villa World Cup is really not far away now, only 2 weeks. I'm really excited to see if I can show my best on lead at the next comps. And yeah, the season's halfway through, but feels like it's only just starting, and I'm really excited to give it my best. Next up, there might be a video on paddle dynos in the UK. It'd be really good to get some training videos out. But for now, it's just back to the UK, rest, try and recharge myself, ready for the World Cups, and I'm really excited. I hope you enjoyed the videos, and yeah, thank you. We're in Munich. Our flight was cancelled. We're meant to be home almost by now. We're sat in some Indian restaurant. I'm struggling to keep my eyes open. I'm absolutely knackered, and I don't really know how I've ended up here.